Every beep, every pling, every little just a second, you know what that is? That's your attention being taken away. And you might not even notice it, but it's costing you not only peace of mind, but your actual potential. I mean, just think about it. Every time you give in to distraction and you lose your focus, then there are processes that directly or indirectly halter you from doing what you're supposed to do and becoming who you're supposed to be. When that happens multiple times throughout the day, it compounds, and before you know it, you have lost your ability to focus and you're unable to do anything long enough for it to manifest itself to its fullest potential. And you simply can't focus anymore. The definition of mental focus is the ability to direct your mental efforts toward a specific task or thought while you filter out the distractions. Now, if you feel that this definition of focus doesn't apply to you, then this video is for you. Because I've been in your shoes, man. In the past, when I sat down to do something, I would always end up getting distracted, either by my phone or by other people, or 100 different things I thought I had to do in that moment. If I was working on something or if I had an idea pop up in my head, I wouldn't be able to hold on to it for long enough for it to manifest itself because of all the mental clutter in my mind from all the different inputs around me. And yeah, over time this became my standard. Whatever I set out to do, my mind was just at 100 different places at the same time. And I simply wasn't using my mind in the best possible way. And over time, this has consequences, man. I mean, anything that is worthwhile, anything that can bring you immense results need focus. Like your studies, your job, your projects, or side hustles. Even how you live your life, you need to be able to focus to do these things to the utmost of your abilities. And if you can't focus, that means that there are 100 moments in your day that just lose their fruitfulness because you simply can't sit down and do them the way that you're supposed to do. I mean, you wake up and instead of focusing on starting your day on the right foot, you just grab your phone and start scrolling TikTok like an idiot. Or if you're preparing to go to work, you're blasting your head with music, and on your commute or drive to work, you're listening to the news, just filling your head with nonsense. Instead, you could have been preparing to start your day off the right way and just prepare to have a productive day where you chase your goals and do what you need to do to the utmost of your abilities. And these things might seem minor when you look at them as individual instances, but if you just zoom out, you'll notice that there's a pattern. And that pattern, when left unchecked, it just breaks your future potential, man. And I know that's true because when I became aware of my broken focus and I actually put in the effort to rebuild it back, and I finally locked in, I built two things that significantly improved my life. But yeah, man, before that happened, I was just a complete opposite. I thought that I was productive. I thought that I was hustling, but in reality, I was just distracted. I mean, busy being busy. I'll explain it with this example. When I started in real estate, I thought that being busy meant that I was doing well, right? I was always answering my calls, checking messages, checking listings online, cold calling clients, and just sending out emails. And I was just multitasking in all of these different things. And in between, I would just open my phone and maybe scroll a little bit of YouTube, open Snapchat, check my messages, scroll a bit on Instagram, and before I knew it, 8 hours would go by and I had very little to show for it, except that I was tired, drained, and unmotivated. So I would just, grab my phone for a quick pick-me-up, scroll more Instagram, listen to a song, a podcast, or even play some video games. And in my head, I thought that I was a hard-working agent that deserved to enjoy myself. But in reality, my mind was just all over the place. I mean, I was never truly focused on just one thing. I was always everywhere at the same time. And my goal was to make money, but I couldn't even tell where to aim anymore. Every new idea it slipped away before it became real, and it was just buried under a pile of half-minded plans and just distractions. Because listen, man, to create something great, to do something great, or just to be super productive, you have to be able to hold it in your mind and focus on it long enough for it to grow. And you need to be able to focus on it without being distracted all the time. So if your income depends on making sales, then when it's time to call, you can't be halfway in. You can't let one message or one colleague break the rhythm. No, when it's time to call, you sit down with your list and you actually make the call with full focus, which is why you need focus. Because focus is creation. It's the ability to put your mind on one thing long enough for it to become something real. so that you can later reap the most benefit of it. And it wasn't until I saw that clearly that I started protecting my focus. And now, it wasn't that I forced myself to focus more. I just got very mindful about what kept pulling me away. One thing I've come to realize with older age is that it's not always about adding more, it's also about taking away and learning the value of what you actually have. I mean, we all have the ability to focus. It's just been corrupted by all the noise around us. So I made myself a promise. I would just remove all the noise, all the notification, all the unnecessary apps, all the songs, and just all the bells and whistles of these modern technologies, man. I went analog as much as I could, and I would stay present to the best of my ability at the time. So my goal was that I wouldn't use anything to kind of escape my mind when I was bored, right? And what I do is that I would pick a goal, map out how I would get there, and I wouldn't let anything fill the space in between. Meaning no notifications, no messages, no people, no sounds, music, nothing. And yeah, man, I mean, it was boring. It was painfully boring. But then a couple days later of doing this and living this new lifestyle, I was at work, right? And I was looking for leads to cold call. And it's a very slow and repetitive process for us real estate agents to find leads, because first of all, you have to go into the website where people put listings, and then you have to scroll through each of the ads and see who has put their numbers out. And then you take that number, put it in a system to check if they have reserved themselves from telemarketing. And if they haven't, you have to check if any other real estate agent has kind of reserved to call them, right? And there's just so many clicks, so many things you have to check. And if you find somebody to call, you have to kind of just take their number, take the address, take their name, put it in a document and keep the link. And it's just so many clicks. And normally I would have just had music or a podcast playing in my ear just so that I could stay sane whilst doing it. But since I had kind of left out all of that noise and I told myself that I wouldn't really distract myself with anything, I was just sitting there in silence, and yeah, man, it was brutal. But then out of the silence, I got this thought that there has to be a better way to do this. And now I could clearly just hear this in my mind, but I could also follow it. And then an idea hit me. An idea that stuck with me because my mind wasn't fried from all the other kinds of inputs. So that weekend, I actually sat down for 2 days straight, 8 hours each, and I built a small program from scratch. And what the program did was that it searched every housing ad, cross-checked them with the telemarketing reserve list and to see if other real estate agents have taken it, and then it dropped all of that into a clean file that I could upload into Notion and just have it in a super structured way. So by Sunday night, I had a program that with just one click gave me 50 to 100 leads within a minute. And normally it would have taken me hours to get a list like this, but just 2 days of focus built a system that keeps paying me back till this day. I mean, now I just click one button and I spend all of that extra free time that I would have spent finding those leads on actually cold calling, which means that I make more bookings, I sign more deals, and I get more money. And that's just one example of what is possible when you kind of protect your focus and use it for what it's meant to do. Because focus is leverage. It opens up space for clarity, and with that clarity, you can break through the mental barriers that stop you. And that is where creation starts and where real results live. Now, imagine if I had just been in distraction mode. Imagine if I was playing music and then I maybe got this idea and I would just grab my phone to maybe research it a bit, and then I got a notification and then I checked the news and I don't even remember why I opened the news, and then I remember, oh, I have to buy dish soap, and I just gotta write it in my to-do list and just do all of these different things that just scatter me all over. And before I knew it, then the idea would lose its potency, or maybe I wouldn't do it or remember it right, or just something like that, man. But instead, with the silence, I was able to hold on to it, and with my focus, I was able to create it. And who knows, man, maybe I would have started on the project either way, but I'm pretty sure it would have taken me more than 16 hours total to create it. I mean, when working on something, sure, you can be distracted and finish it either way, but it's gonna take way more time, meaning that it's so much less effective than when you're actually focused on doing it. My point is that when you remove the distractions and give yourself time to focus, you can turn your hours into high-yielding assets. So yeah, man, looking back at this, I have this strange feeling about it. I mean, it was almost that I lived my life like a zoned out zombie. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't that I was completely useless or unable to focus fully. I still got my degree from a pretty big university, and I started different projects and managed to finish most of them. And I did achieve some good stuff. But my point is that if I had just learned how to focus correctly, then maybe I wouldn't have failed some of my exams, or maybe my creations would have happened faster and been better. Who knows, man? I mean, it's in the past and we only have the luxury of hindsight in the moments that we are in now. Which leads me to the question, how did we even get there? And to be honest, the answer is all around us, and it's all around you too. Just look around, man. We've all been conditioned to chase noise, notification, reels, news feeds, Netflix shows. Everything is so instant and our attention is all over the place. So they've kind of turned our attention into slot machines, and we end up just pulling the lever every few seconds, hoping to get another hit. And these companies, they're making billions out of our distractions. I mean, they call it engagement, but what it really means is that they get rich while we stay broke. Or should I say that we get broken? That's why they make it so addictive. They want us to come back on autopilot. It's like they hijacked our minds and turned us into robots. And once you realize it's a problem, it's almost already too late, because it's just not a habit anymore. It's an addiction. The end result is that you just have a fragmented mind with multiple viruses, in a sense. I mean, people these days can't hold on to thoughts for more than a few minutes. They're constantly context switching, jumping from app to app, thought to thought, task to task, and never finishing anything, or I mean, at least not doing it nearly as good as they could. So they seek stimulation like oxygen, constantly just opening up YouTube, checking messages. And even when they don't want to, they just do it on automatic. And they forget what they were doing mid-task, having to kind of restart a focus session 5 times a day. Then they wonder why they feel so drained and unmotivated, even though they've done nothing. That's what broken focus looks like. And the scary part is that most people don't even notice that they have kind of crossed into that, you know. So the solution here, guys, it's awareness. Awareness is the key. You can't fix something that you're not aware of, and most people are just walking around blind, not even knowing that they can't focus properly, because they don't even know what real focus looks like. They just don't realize that their entire day is built around distraction. So what you can do is just to start there. Be brutally honest with yourself and look at your day. What's actually keeping you distracted and breaking your ability to focus? For most people, 9 out of 10 times, it is their phones. The constant notification, DMs, apps, endless scrolling. And it's also the addictions. I mean, video games, screen time, PMO. These things, they don't just waste your time. They kind of rob you of your ability to even start something that requires focus, because addiction just kind of steps in and makes you crave to do a certain thing, right? And that was actually me for years. I was addicted to PMO. I didn't just lose many hours, but I actually lost my momentum, drive, peace, until I finally decided to do something about it. And the end result of that is actually something that became a system that I built to help myself quit PMO, and I also used it for video games and nicotine. And it's just rebuilt my self-control from scratch. So it's based around on like neuroplasticity. I kind of rewired my brain to look past the addiction and recognize that life without is way better. So today I've kind of shared it, and I have over 100 people who use it every day, not only to kind of track streaks, but to rebuild their discipline and regain their ability to control themselves again. And a byproduct of that is that they actually rebuilt their focus too. So a lot of these guys are thanking me on a daily basis, because it's just helping them tremendously in life, which is the good news in all of this. The ability to focus, it's not something you learn, it's something you can reclaim and build. So there's a lot of potential there, because it's not enough to just remove the noise, right? You got to rebuild your focus too, because it's like a muscle. And just like any muscle, if you don't use it, it gets weak. So if you spent your years jumping from one tab to another, one app to the next, one thought to the next, 100 of unfinished tasks and just multitasking, you can't expect razor sharp focus overnight. You gotta put in the reps. And here are some steps on how you can do that. So step one is to identify one thing that matters. Firstly, you would sit down and write the most important things that you have to do for your day, and then you just pick one. Just one clear target, something that you need to fully focus on. Alright? So it could be studying for an exam, making sales calls, researching a topic, maybe writing a script or doing your homework. I'm talking about things that would yield such great rewards if you could just sit down and focus on them. I mean, sure, you can focus on doing the dishes as well, to do them quickly and to do them good, but you get what I'm saying. I'm talking about bigger things here. Once you've decided which one thing to do, you remove everything else that doesn't serve it. So no scrolling, no tabs, no just I'm gonna check something for 1 second. No, you lock in on that one thing until you're done, or until you worked on it for as long as you said you would. At first, it's gonna feel uncomfortable. I mean, you're not used to this, so your brain is going to want to run, so you might want to catch your phone, or you just might want to check something else. But that's the moment that you actually train your brain, because every time you catch yourself trying to deviate from the task at hand and you come back, then that's a rep. That's the focus being built. And once you kind of do this enough times, your focus will get to such a place where you don't deviate anymore. You just know, your brain recognizes that, okay, now it's time to do this, so we're gonna do it. There's no phone to check, there's no other stuff to do. It's this and nothing else. The second thing you can do is to actually train your mind directly. And meditation, it's literally that. I mean, you just sit down, close your eyes, and you just observe what your mind does. And when you notice that you're drifting into thoughts, when you're kind of following whatever your mind is portraying to you, then you just gently come back to your breath. So you kind of focus on your breathing, like the air going in your nose. You notice that your stomach kind of grows, and then you push the air out, and you just follow that, you focus on that. But then it happens again. Your mind is thinking about something, you fall into thought, and you come back again. And you just do it every time. And every comeback, it's a rep. Every rep is building your control, and you're literally training the same muscles that helps you stay locked in when you work, study, or create. Like everything, at first it's hard, you're gonna drift 100 times, but that's the point, that's the workout. And if you just do it a little bit every day, write down what actually matters, stay with it, and meditate, you'll feel your focus gets infinitely stronger. And you'll notice that silence feels lighter, work feels cleaner, and ideas come easier. Because that's what focus really is. It's the art of coming back. And when you master that, you stop chasing stimulation and you just start creating results, man. That's it. That's how you start rebuilding your focus. You strip away the noise, you get honest with yourself, you train your mind to stay, and you aim it towards something that actually matters. Because focus isn't just about getting more done. It's to become the kind of person who finishes what they start. The kind of person that doesn't waste potentials chasing small hits of dopamine. Your potential is literally sitting right there waiting for you to come back. All it needs is your focus. And that's exactly what the crazy part is. Because once you take back your focus, everything else follows. You'll get peace, clarity, results, income, whatever you want, man. Because your ability to focus, it's your fortune. Every time you give it away, you're paying a price. But when you take it back, that's when everything changes. So yeah, man, protect your focus, build it, and use it for what it's meant for.